From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ijoma Onyato.
Hello and welcome. United Kingdom begins fresh process to confiscate assets worth over 55 billion naira traced to former governor of Delta State, Mr. James Ibori. 2 vehicles conveying suspected migrants from neighboring Cameroon intercepted by troops of the Nigerian army and officials of the Nigeria Immigration Service in Taraba State. People's Democratic Party calls for review of the Supreme Court judgment on the Imo State governorship election, alleges executive manipulation in the verdict. And U.S. government watchdog Government Accountability Office rules White House broke the law by withholding aid to Ukraine after approval by Congress. Plus, business, sports, news from the FCT, and of course later from our studios in London. On business news tonight, English-speaking finance ministers and central bank governors of West Africa reject Cote d'Ivoire's renaming of CFA franc as ECHO.
And on sports news tonight, Nigerian wrestler Odunayo Adekunle emerges champion of the Pelican Ranking Series in Italy to boost her seeding for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
From Abuja, newly sworn-in governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, resumes duty at the government house in Owerri, the state capital.
We begin outside Nigeria in the United Kingdom, where a British prosecutor is reported to have launched a fresh attempt to confiscate funds stolen from Nigeria by a former governor of Delta State, Mr. James Ibori. He pleaded guilty at London Southwark Crown Court in 2012 to 10 counts of fraud and money laundering and was jailed for 13 years. He was, however, released from jail in December 2016, after which he returned to Nigeria, having served half of his sentence in pre- and post-trial detention. According to Reuters, prosecution counsel Jonathan Kinnear today restarted the process at Southwark and began listing assets that Britain seeks to confiscate from Ibori and return to Nigeria. Efforts made in 2013 by the UK to confiscate the funds were not successful due to unresolved legal disputes after weeks of hearings. The total value of the known proceeds of the loot is reportedly estimated at £117 million or 55.4 billion naira, but according to the prosecutor, only a portion of that sum may be recovered. Mr. Ibori is also said to be fighting hard to stall the confiscation of the assets in what the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has described as a campaign of calumny targeted at UK police officers. Meanwhile, another former governor, Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti State, is challenging a move by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to introduce a new witness in the ongoing 2.2 billion naira fraud trial against him and a firm, Spotless Investment Limited. On February the 17th, the court will rule on whether the witness, Johnson Abidakun, who is the head of operations Zenith Bank Ado-Ekiti branch, can testify in the trial. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had brought in Mr. Abidakun to replace a bullion van driver with Zenith Bank Ado-Ekiti branch, who had earlier testified in the case. The prosecuting counsel, Rotimi Jacob, had alleged that the testimony given by the bullion van driver was different from the statement he wrote at the EFCC's office during investigation of the case. Mr. Jacob alleged that Mr. Fayose had gone behind to compromise the witness by threatening him. But the defense counsel, Ola Olanikpekun and Olalekan Ojo, opposed the prosecution's move, describing it as an abuse of court processes. Over now to Kogi State, where a former deputy governor in the eye of the legal storm, a high court sitting in Lokoja, the state capital, has fixed ruling for February the 27th on the legality of the removal of Mr. Simon Achuba as deputy governor. Mr. Achuba's counsel, in his submission, asked the court to declare the removal of the former deputy governor by the House of Assembly as a violation of the Constitution. He's also seeking the court's declaration of the lawmakers' actions and subsequent nomination of Chief Edward Onoja for deputy governor as null and void, describing the action of the assembly as a constitutional coup. Responding, counsel to the defendant, Shola Adeniyi, prayed the court to dismiss the suit, as the claimant has no power to challenge the proceedings of the House of Assembly. Mr. Adeniyi described the issues raised in the originating summons submitted by counsel to the former deputy governor as centered on guesswork. The trial judge fixed ruling for February the 27th after hearing all the submissions. Now, from the courts, we move on to security matters. The Nigerian Army troops in Taraba State, in collaboration with the Nigeria Immigration Service, have intercepted 2 vehicles suspected to be conveying migrants from neighboring Cameroon. The vehicles and their 45 occupants were nabbed at a checkpoint in Gashaka local government area of Taraba State. Parading the suspects, the commanding officer, 20 Model Battalion in Seti, Lieutenant Colonel Abdul Latif Raji, explained that the suspects comprised 3 drivers and 42 youths, including a lady. The suspects, who were found without any luggage or any means of identification, had been handed over to the police command in Taraba State for further investigations.
The interception was effected following information received on their suspicious movement. Preliminary investigation revealed that some of the suspects don't even know where they are going, while others were without luggage. The drivers conveying the suspects claimed they came from Takum, but they were not paid, which further raises a lot of suspicion. The suspicious movement of such large number of youths therefore portends a serious security challenge. Thus, it has become necessary to hand them over to the appropriate security agencies, the police, DSS, and immigration officers, for thorough joint investigation.
More Nigerians stranded in Lebanon are appealing to the federal government to come to their rescue. Now, this is coming barely 1 week after a video of a 23-year-old Nigerian lady working in Lebanon went viral over alleged slavery. Another video has emerged in which the voices of some young ladies are heard asking for food and money with their luggage on the floor at a location they claim is the Nigerian embassy.
Please help me. God will help you too.
This eye-opening video calling for the rescue of all trafficked ladies in Lebanon was posted about a week ago. Although the originator of the video, Omolola Ajayi, is still unable to make it back home, another such victim, Gloria Bright, has since returned and has been reunited with her family. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons is expected to commence further investigation into her misadventure.
Lebanon is just where they take some of us advantages of some ladies out there. There was no money in Lebanon, there was no dollar in Lebanon, so they don't pay most of the housekeepers there for now.
That account seems real, and it seems to be escalated by some more Nigerians facing a similar plight in another viral video.
We are stranded here, no food, no clothes, nothing, please. In Nigerian embassy in Lebanon, please. Ladies are suffering in Lebanon. We are facing a lot of things. Please help us and assist us.
What this new set of allegedly trafficked Nigerians in Lebanon is asking for is relevant assistance from the federal government, with an appeal not to be left stranded and hanging in the foreign land.
We need your help. Help us. We are here stranded though.
Now, let's get the latest position on the situation. Joining me live from Abuja is the Chairman CEO, Nigeria Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Arewa. Thanks a lot for joining us on the news at 10. Now,
thank you.
One of the first questions I'd ask is, what is the status of things as it stands now? How many girls are home, and how many are you negotiating their return?
Well, no Nigerian trafficked, in Lebanon is stranded. As I speak with you, they're all... What happened was there was a surge at the embassy after Omolola's release to the embassy, I think she called a whole lot of them that, well, I'm here, if you want help, come here, and they did. So nobody is stranded in the embassy, and I think I have a picture, which I hope you can use, showing them in the embassy. In fact, the embassy has really tried, you know. Now they are somewhere, they are within the embassy, they have to put them somewhere, and the next thing is, you know, get them back. So we're in touch with the embassy. As I speak with you today, I think there are about 15 that are in the embassy. So we're in touch with the embassy, and everything will be done to bring them back. But however, you bring them back and then you find some still going back. So really, this is a problem that has to be tackled from the source. How are they going? And I tell you something, according to reports from the embassy, over 4,000 Nigerian girls have been trafficked to Lebanon. And the embassy has actually been bringing them back when they get them without, you know, anybody knowing about it until this Omolola's video went viral. By the way, Omolola will return tomorrow. She will be back in the country tomorrow. So really, there's nobody stranded at the embassy as I speak.
Yeah. Sorry to take you back to it. Yes, you say no one is stranded, but in that video, the girls did say that they were stranded and that they needed food and they needed aid. So are you saying that nobody needs food, nobody needs aid, and we should discountenance it?
I've shown you pictures. As I speak to you, there's nobody stranded out there. Maybe more will come tomorrow. But they've been taken in. You know, when they came, the embassy #1 had to profile some of them. Some could be traffickers themselves. You don't just come in and then that video, they didn't show their faces. We don't even know where they are. But I have videos, I don't know why you're not using it. I've given you a video and a picture of them in the embassy, right there inside the embassy. So that video, I don't know, you didn't play the video, but if you play the full video, you find out they're talking about an NGO. Promoting an NGO, which again we need to be careful about. Many NGOs have come up, some are fake, maybe some are not, but many NGOs have come up capitalizing on the situation of these girls. So we need to be careful. So we deal directly with the mission in Lebanon. I'm telling you that I speak with you now. No Nigerian trafficked girl is outside the embassy. They've been taken indoors. It's a bit overwhelming because they're quite a number, but they're taken indoors. They've been given something to eat. And, you know, the process takes a while. They don't have their passports. They need to be profiled. Then they get their travel certificates, get the permission of immigration. So it's going to take a process to get them back.
Okay.
That's why even Omolola is taking a while, but she'll be back.
Yeah. How do you classify what is going on? Some have said, oh, it's human slavery, human labor. We understand one of the agents said the girls signed contracts and they knew what they were getting into. What have your investigations revealed in terms of what's actually happening?
Well, I don't deal with trafficking per se. Trafficking is with NAPTIP, but in this case, we have stranded Nigerians abroad who called for help and the commission intervened. So I can't go into details of what happened, how it happened. It has to be answered by NAPTIP. But I know that this situation needs a multi-agency approach. It's becoming a big embarrassment and it needs to be stopped. How are they going out? How are they getting out there? How will about 4,000 people be trafficked to Lebanon? And we also have in other African countries, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Cairo. So really, that won't be my own purview. My own purview is we got a distress call. Like Omolola, we were tagged and we got in touch with the embassy. Now we also have a situation where there are about, I think, 13 to 15 girls stranded. They are there at the embassy. They can't stay there for too long. They have to come back. So we need to do everything we can working with the embassy to get them back. But it's not about just getting them back. It's about tackling that problem from the source. So like I said, that will be a question for NAPTIP. Mine is the Diaspora Commission. Mr. President has said, wherever any Nigerian is stranded, intervene and get them back. So we will get those 15 in the embassy back. And I hope that when we do that, others will not be. And then we have to be sure that they're Nigerians and that they're not even traffickers. There was a story from that same embassy where traffickers tried to mingle with some of them to get a free ride home. Yeah, okay. So they need to be profiled. We need to be sure. We've
received the video you're talking about. We're working on it and we will try to show it so that for the benefit of our viewers, they can see
and there's
what
also
you
a picture
talking about. Yeah.
And there's also a picture of them inside the embassy.
Yes, you said that, and we're working on it, and we will show it, so for the benefit of our viewers. But from what you're seeing coming out of Lebanon now, my question is it as dire as what we see in Libya? And how worried are you in terms of the number of people that we're seeing?
If we don't tackle this, yeah, if we don't tackle this now, it's going to be, it's becoming an epidemic. So it needs to be tackled from source. You know, they need to find out, even from these girls coming back, you know, some have been arrested in Kwara. The cabal, the ring needs to be tackled. I think that is just the long and short of it. I'm told that even on radio stations, there are announcements of, you know, going to work or not going to work. So a lot of work needs to be done. There has to be a multi-agency approach to it. NAPTIP, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Immigration, security agencies, all hands have to be on deck to stop this. It's really an embarrassment to the country. But it has to be stopped. It will be stopped. For those stranded there in Lebanon, there are about 15. We'll get them back as instructed by Mr. President. All
right, Chairman, CEO, Nigeria Diaspora Commission, Nabike Dabire-Rewa, thanks a lot for joining us on the News at 10 tonight. Thanks for that. Yeah. And in part 2, after the break, President Buhari restates need to prioritize women's education and empowerment in Nigeria. That's coming up in a moment. Just stay with us.